Hello, Keith here from Math Fun and Games. Today we're playing MBT from GMT Games. We're on turn 3 of the basic scenario using the basic rules. So we're going to start with a spotting phase. So let's focus in. And we're going to go to all the units, and let's focus in down here on the left. All right, so as you can see over here, we have this vehicle and this vehicle, and that's going to be at very point blank range. So if you look on the spotting chart, so these two units are spotted, the two American units and the two Russian units are spotted. Let's take a look at this chart. Okay. So you have, let's look at spotting ranges. Okay. So the range is 0. All right. So it's 20 hexes, and there's no problem spotting those. Excellent. So remove that. So those are spotted. That's easy. So now let's see who else is spotted. So let's move up to this area over here. This vehicle right there, that's spotted by this vehicle over here. That's an easy one. How about these two vehicles right there? Those two vehicles are also spotted by that vehicle down there. Okay. This vehicle, same thing, spotted by this vehicle, and vice versa. This is spotted by this vehicle. Also, this unit in the woods, the light woods, is also spotted by that vehicle. And I believe I already said that this vehicle is spotted and these two are spotted. So everybody in this general area is spotted. Now we have other units that are back here. So we have 4 other tanks. I'm going to pull back on the map and see what the situation is over here. All right. So how about, so I'm going to take the line of sight marker and check from this vehicle. Oh, no, I don't want to move you, do I? No, I don't want to move you. Let's do that. Let's hit the line of sight marker. Go down and hit the line of sight. Boom. So let's go from this unit over to there. And it barely cuts through, but that is a blocking hex. That is very light woods. So that is a blocking hex. However, let's go up. And this unit right here, let's go from that hex to this vehicle. So that vehicle's spotted. That vehicle's spotted. So all those vehicles are spotted. Now this vehicle right here. How about this vehicle in the woods? I don't know if he's spotted or not. But let's check. Turn on spotting. Let's draw range. So yeah, he is spotted. Because going from hex center to hex center, there is a clear path. So every one of these vehicles in that row is spotted. No problem there. Let's go to the right. Now situation is a little bit more interesting. But first, let's go up to the top of the hill. So over here, I have these 2 units. These are at level 2. These trees are at level 3. So the trees block the spotting to this area right here. And are there other units that can see those? Okay, so let's take a look. Let's go back. And I'm going to draw line of sight from this unit all the way up to there. So that would be blocked by that line of sight right there, X4T9. How about this unit right here? Back. And let's take a look. So I'm going from here all the way up to here. Now I don't see any woods that would block. However, this is a non-continuous slope. So a non-continuous slope, this unit would not be able to see beyond the second hex of the level 1 slope. So that unit is not spotted by anybody. Those 2 units on a hill are not spotted by anybody. So I can actually, they have a spot marker on them, but I can actually remove that because they're not spotted at this time. Delete. Okay, so the most interesting situation is, circle it. So you have these units over here. All right, so you have 3 units up in that area, upper right, and then you have units on a hill over here. First of all, I have to see if there's any blocking terrain. There's some woods here that might block. So let's see if these woods block. Okay, they don't block to there, they don't block to there, they don't block to there. Okay, so they don't block. Now we have some buildings. The line of sight goes through some buildings. The buildings create blind spots. Buildings are a height of +1. So I have my chart that we're going to use. And I created this chart because it takes the math out. And it's really simple to use. Okay. So first of all, you find the distance from the fire to the obstacle. So we're going from this hex to that hex. That's going to be range of 9. All right. And then let's see if I can pull up my chart again. There it is. That's B. Then for B, height of fire above top of obstacle. In that case, it's 2. So you go 9 crosses with 2. Now, if the target height is at, so you have 2 numbers, a green 2 and a blue 1. So then you look at the target. Is the target height of the obstacle base? So in this case, the obstacle base is 1, level 0 or level 1. And the target, all those 3 vehicles are at the same level as the obstacle base. So we're going to use the green box. And you have a 2 there. So what you're going to find is that terrain creates 2 blind spots. All right, a blind spot that creates a blind spot of 2 hex sides. So those are in that blind spot. I also did these earlier. The range is 2. The range is 2. So none of those vehicles, none of these 3 vehicles are in the blind spot for any of these hexes right here. So those hexes do not create blind spots right now that would affect those vehicles. So those 3 vehicles are spotted by the unit on the hill, and the unit on the hill is in turn reciprocally spotted by those 3 vehicles. That's the end of the spotting phase. Now we go to the command phase. What's interesting about this game is you have to place your commands before you know who's going to go first. Kind of interesting. And this would be simultaneous. Both players would place their commands upside down. But I am playing solitaire. So I have the ability to place commands, just place them right side up. So I'm going to start with the command for these 3 units over here. Now, do I want fire to the top of that hill? Or perhaps do I want to move these out? Well, I want to move them out because there's a victory point to the right and there's a victory point to the left. So there are 2 victory points there, and I can take those victory points immediately. So I'm going to give these guys, well, I could either give them a short halt or a move. Let's see what their movement rates are. So the road movement rate is 11. Road movement rate's 11. If I do a short halt, that's cut in half. 5.5 rounded down is 5. 1, 2, 3. So I can reach that victory point over here. How about the cross country? Cross country movement rate is 5. I'll be doing it with this one. So cross country movement rate is 5. So I can do a short halt. So I'm going to do a short halt. So that's going to give me a quick chance to fire at the units on that hill, then move into position. So I'm going to give all of these a short halt. Then I can move into a position where I can take the 2 victory point terrain right near me. Okay, so that's for them. Now this unit right here, do I want to fire with this unit? And fire occurs before movement. Do I want to fire with this unit? Or do I want to move it to a better position? What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a fire command. The reason is if I take these 2 units on the left, I pretty much control this entire left side of the board. So I'm looking at this area right here. Let's see if I can do it. There you go. Go back. Right here. So I'm looking at this unit, this area right here. Let me go back for a second. I am so sorry. I'll go up this way. Hopefully this works. Okay. So this is the unit I'm looking at. This is the area I'm looking at right here. In this area, I only see 3 Russian tanks. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including that tank near the bridge, 7 American tanks. So I want to take out those 2 Russian tanks. I'm just going to hit those. Well, do I want to do movement? I'm actually going to do movement. Oh, that's tough. Problem is we have these vehicles. We have 5 Russian vehicles right here bearing down, and they can move off to the left or they can move off to the right. There's a bigger battle brewing up on the right. So on the right there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I said, 7 American, 7-2 on the right now, and on the left, 7-2 on the left, and on the right there's 3 American vehicles unopposed. So how do I want to shift the odds here? Depends on where I want to send the Russian units. So now I want to decide what I'm going to do with this unit. And I am going to give him a fire command. Or should I give him a short halt? I'm going to also give him a short halt. So he's going to take a quick shot and he's going to do a little bit of movement. Now these units over here, these 2 units are both going to do fire commands, obviously. I would do Overwatch. The thing with Overwatch is I'm putting this fire marker near, just near these 2. In the basic game, each vehicle has its own command. In the advanced game, you give a command to groups of vehicles. So these 2 vehicles have that fire command. I have 2 vehicles over here. How is this going to work? And then I have the 2 command vehicles over here. So the command vehicles, I'm going to give a fire command to. I'm going to give this tank right here a short halt. And that unit in the woods, I'm going to give a move command to. Okay, so I gave, are there any more American units that need commands? Well, these tanks right here, they're not doing anything where they are, so I'm going to give them a move command. Now, if I do Overwatch for them, but they're not going to be able to see anything because of where they are. So I'm going to, the only move thing they can have that's useful for anybody is a move command right there. Okay, that's it for the American units. For the Russian units, these two are both going to have fire commands, and they're going to pray that they get the initiative. We have 2 units on top of the hill. They're going to fire. The units at the top of the hill are going to fire at those 3 tanks they can see on the right. And those 5 tanks to the center. This is the key decision right here. Is the Russian player going to do with those 5 tanks coming in the center? Does he shift right and make that a 7-on-7 battle? Well, yeah. Does he shift to the left and make that a 7-on-7 battle? Or does he shift to the right where there are 3 American units coming in unopposed? If he goes to the right, he's going to abandon a lot of territory to the left. However, there is fire from those 2 units on the hill right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send these units. I'm going to send them to the left, I think, and I'm going to, the unit that's marked first is going to fire, and that second unit is going to move. I'm going to give this first unit a fire, second unit a move. The third unit is going to do a short halt. Well, no, the last unit's going to do a short halt. I'm going to give that second unit a move, and I'm going to give that rear unit a fire right there. I think that's it for the Russian turn now. All right, so does everybody have commands? Okay, they have move commands. So it looks like everybody has commands in this situation. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the initiative roll. Since both of these units have the same, well, it's a basic game, so I'm just going to roll for the Americans. Americans got an 81, Warsaw Packets a 14. So the Americans have the all-important initiative here. So they're going to fire first, which is huge. So I'm going to go ahead and do the combat phase. So I'm going to focus in and go from the left to the right. Americans go first. I'm going to start off with this unit right here. It's an M60A3. It's going to fire at the rear tank here, and that's going to be at point blank range. So now I'm firing at this tank right here, the Russian tank. Once I announce any fire against that tank, I have to announce all my fires against that tank, do the fires, and then I'm done firing at that tank. So I'm going to do that. This is going to fire. I'm going to look on my card for the vehicle that's firing. Let's pull that up. There we go. Okay. So it's not an M1 Abrams. It is the M60A3. And the M60A3 point blank range is 6 hexes. Penetration 110. Right, so it's point blank range. I'll move that down. And then we're going to go on the data card. Go to the first chart. There we go. point blank range. So it's the P range. There's no modifier yet. 90 to hit. The target size. Let's take a look at the Soviet target size. Move this up. The size fat, well, we have it's 2 T72AV. And so look over here. So the target size is under defensive information. It's the upper left in the defensive information box, and there's no size modifier here. Now, is the target moving? Yes, the target is moving. So it'll be -2. Are either of those vehicles in cover? They're not in any type of cover. Is the firing unit doing a short halt? Nope. I don't think there are any other adjustments here that I can see. So it's just going to be a -2 for moving target. So I'm going to need a 72. That first vehicle is going to need a 72 to hit. And I believe the second vehicle is also going to need a 72 to hit. I don't think there's any different modifiers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I'm going to do the first vehicle it's firing against. Yep. I'm going to roll. Yeah, 72, 55, that hits. Right. So I hit this right here. Well, I have to look at, first I'll look at the armor factor for the target vehicle. There'll be 85 because I'm firing through the front. And then the firing vehicle at point blank range, 110 minus 85. So that's going to be a difference of 15. So over here, if you look under combat effects summary, it says basic game damage. Penetration factor is greater than the armor factor by 10 or more, so it brews up. So it explodes and it's on fire. And we'll close that. And I'm going to mark this. I'm gonna just put a brew up marker on it. Get a brew up marker. Okay. Let's see. Turret markers. Game markers. Let's go down to the next one. Unit markers. There we go. Brewed up. I'm going down here, marking that with a brewed up marker. Now the second tank firing at that, it's going to have the same odds of hitting. I'll just show you where the shot is. So it's going to be this to that, and it's going to need a 72 to hit. 71 hits just barely because it's the same exact attack. Basically, that unit is also going to be brewed up. That is why it's so important to get initiative here. Okay. Brewed up. There you go. Now I can remove this fire marker from this vehicle right here. Delete. There we go. And those two units no longer need this, so I gotta remove that. Remove that fire marker. So this is just cleanup now. Right here. And we're done with that. So that's those two vehicles fired. Now, if they had missed, all right, because I fired and I did the shot, if they had missed, nobody else would have been able to fire at them. All right. So I have all these other vehicles over here. All right. And did I say this was I think, okay, so I'm just going to go, because I didn't say specifically say, I thought I might have said that this vehicle was firing at this vehicle, but I'm going to say we didn't. So now this right here, this vehicle is firing at a short halt against this vehicle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at a range of 9. Is there any other fire that I want against that vehicle? Okay. One of these vehicles is also going to fire. This vehicle right here is also going to fire at it. And this vehicle right here is going to fire it. So there's three vehicles firing at this one vehicle over here. All right, so over here I'm going to determine the range. The range is actually 9, but I'll just run the marker. Okay, range of 9. Oop, yep. So looking on the chart, range of 9 is going to be short range and with a 96 penetration factor. Excuse me. Let's do the hit. So the target, what kind of move does it have? So the target has a fire command, so it's not going to be moving. So that's going to make it easier to hit. So it's going to be a base 70, no target size, no moving target. Is the target in cover? The target is in cover, and that is I believe it's a scrub, and it's a +1 mod. It's a -1 modifier, and that right there would be the only modifier. So we're going to need a 63 to hit. Roll, and I get a 42, so that does hit. So we said that penetration factor at short range is 96, so it's going to be 96 minus the front armor facing for that vehicle. You go down here, and it's going to be in the lower left-hand corner, 85. So that's the difference of 11, and that vehicle is going to be brewed up. Vehicle, all important initiative here. So I can remove that. So that unit, that's going to be flipped to its move side to show that it fired. And flip that. I think it's that one. There we go. Now, these two vehicles can no longer fire. So this right here is going to be flipped to its move side to show that it, because they all fired at the same target. It was this vehicle, and I believe it was this vehicle. So I'm actually going to move this fire marker, oops, next to that vehicle right there. Next. So how about this vehicle right here? Okay, so here's who's going to fire at who. Oh, where should he fire at? He's going to fire at that vehicle right there. Okay. So let's check line of sight. And I guess that vehicle right there. And I did that because I'm concerned that they're wood sight. That's the one where I think I have the best last sight. And he does, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm actually firing with this guy. Okay. Oh. Back. Hopefully the last sight isn't blocked over there. It might be blocked. Okay, so it goes right along the hex edge. So he fired and he lost his shot because he tried firing, but his target was blocked by the woods. So he's done. So that's all the fire for the Americans right here. delete that. Okay, so that's all. If oh yeah, these units down here in the corner, these short halts. So over here in the right hand corner, these are all going to fire at the units on top of the hill. Are they all going to take the 3 shots at one vehicle, or well, 2 are going to go against the first one vehicle, and 1's going to go against the other vehicle. First thing we have to do is determine the range. And I'm gonna do the rear one first. So yeah, right there, range of 16. So we got an M60, range of 16. So that's going to be medium range. Any modifiers? Oh, I might see an issue there though. Okay, no, I thought it might have gone along the hex side. No, it isn't blocked by this trees right there. So any modifiers? I don't believe there are any modifiers in this situation. Let me check one moment. So I looked that up. Let's do the shot. I'll move it over here. So it's medium range. It's a base 50 to hit. There's no target size modifier. The target isn't moving. And there's no cover. Now the fire is firing from a short halt. So I have to check its stabilization rating, which is a measure of how well it can hit. So it's going to be -2 as a stabilization factor of 2. Right, short halt -2. So I'm going to need a 40 or less to hit. And again, these first 2 vehicles are going to fire on the same target, so I have 2 chances to get 40. And 87 and 3. So the second one hits. Okay. Second vehicle hits. Now we check the armor factor. So we'll look at the penetration. Okay, there we go. The penetration factor at medium is 86. And the armor factor is 85, so it's a 1. So we barely do damage to it. Now let's check the combat chart to see what the result of that's going to be. Go over here, combat effects summary. If penetration factor is equal to or greater than the armor factor by 1 to 3, the target suffers a damage hit. Okay. What I did is I put a damage marker on that. You notice these damage markers have hull turret, but there's only generic damage in the basic game. So if that unit gets a second damage marker, it's going to be knocked out. All right. Yeah, second damage is KO'd, knocked out. Also, it has damage modifiers, penalties when it fires, and its future movement speed is reduced by 1/2. So now I have one more vehicle there that's going to try to hit. I just want to check the range. Boom, 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 boom. Range is 14. I believe that's also medium range. Let's check it out. Medium range, 14. Yep. So if this hits, it's also going to be a damage result. We're basically going to be the same type of dice roll. I have to roll medium range -2. I have to roll a 40. 40. Roll 1. Okay, so that hits. So both of those vehicles are damaged. And again, the second vehicle, I'll just take a damage marker and put it on it down here. So both those vehicles are damaged. Well, what does the damage marker, what does damaged do? What's it so picky? Oh yeah, because I'm in line of sight mode. Let's turn off line of sight mode. I'll be able to put a damage marker on top of it. Good, there we go. I'll stack those. Okay, good. All right, so both those units are damaged. If they get another hit, another damaged hit, they'll be eliminated. They'll have penalties on firing and their movement is halved. In this version of the game, so I'm going to move these both, that's going to be flipped to its movement side to show that it has fired. Right click. There we go. Okay. Now it's going to be the Russians' fire turn over here. And again, the way I did it is I looked up the penetration factor, medium range. So the range is like 16. 16 is greater than 12, but less than 22. So it's going to be medium range. Penetration factor is 86. And the defensive armor down here, lower left, is armor 85. And then we looked up on the combat chart, combat effect summary, basic game damage. Penetration factor is greater than the armor factor by 1, so it's a damaged hit. And my dog is talking to me. He's saying he has to use the bathroom. Now, interesting thing about that situation right there is that if all three vehicles had fired on the same vehicle, that would have gotten 2 damage and it would have been a knockout. So, but how are the Russians are going to divide up their fire? They're both going to fire on the same vehicle, the lead vehicle right there. So let's check the range. From here, the range is 14. Let's just, there you look on there. Okay, there you go. So 14 is going to be medium range. So we're going to look under medium range. Here we go. So medium range, target size. I believe these M60A3s have a +1. Yeah, they're large vehicles, so they have a +1 modifier. So it's going to be +1. The target is moving because it has short halt, so it's going to be -2. +1 -2 is -1. Targets are not in cover. The shooter is damaged, so it's going to be -3, so it's going to be -4. And I believe that's it. So I'm going to start with 50. I'm going to go down to the -4. So we need a 30 to hit. Base 30 to hit. I'm going to take 2 shots. First shot misses, and the second shot hits. Cool. All right, so one of the shot hits. So now we have to determine the attacker's armor factor against the defender's armor factor. The defender has an armor factor of, no, it's, yeah, of 48. The attacker, wow, so the attacker has an armor 86 penetration against 48 armor, so that is a brew up. Whew. So M60A3 does not have very good armor. So that first vehicle right there is brewed up and gets a brewed up marker. Boom. What about the rest of the Russian fires? Let's zoom in and see what else is happening. All right. So that's those fires on a hill. The only thing the Russians have left are these 4 tanks over here. And do they have targets? Well, two of those vehicles have a move command. Right, so they're not firing. This guy back here is firing. And I believe he has spotted that unit right there. So I'm going to fire at that unit. And here against them. Range 12. No cover. So let's look at the Soviet card. And rather than Russian, I was going to say Soviets because that's what they. So that's short range 12. It's exactly short range. And its penetration is going to be 97. Okay. And it is a T-72A3, so short range. The target is moving. And the target is large. So -2 for moving. And then it's going to be +1 for large target. So I'm going to get 63 to hit for the Russians. And the dice roll was 66, so they missed. So I'm going to remove that fire marker in a minute. Now this tank right here cannot fire at that same target because I didn't announce it. So this has to fire at a different target. But I have a target it's going to fire at. It's going to fire at that one. Range of 12. It's basically the same shot. It's going to be short range. So it's going to be -2 +1. So it's going to be short range -1. And it's going to need a 63 to hit. And I rolled a 17. So that's going to hit. Now we're going to have to look at its penetration of the shot. At short range, it's going to be a 97. And I believe those vehicles, again, have a 48 in the front armor. Let's go down. Ooh, ooh. Yep. And they have a 48 in the front armor. So go down where it says armor 48. So that's a brew up. Boom. These M60s have very poor armor, don't they? Brew up. Boom. All right. And I believe that's it for the fire phase. All right. Flip this over because it was at, oh wait, that was at a short halt. Right? So I have to look at the stable, that, you know what, that fire was at a short halt, so I have to recalculate that. So I have to find the stabilization factor for that vehicle. So the stabilization factor for that vehicle is a 3. So redoing that shot. Target size +1. What's the target moving? Good question. What's the target moving? The target was I believe the target fired. The target had a fire command. Should leave those commands on till the very end. The target had a fire command, so it wasn't moving. It's going to be +1 and then stabilization -3. Short range, so it's going to be -3 +1. It's going to be -2. So it's going to be a 56, so I would have hit anyways. Right. And that's it for the fire phase. This right here has to be flipped to its move to show that it fired. And everybody So we're done. Now I have to see who has move commands. Yep, it would have had a fire command because it didn't have a move command. So, all right, so that's the fire phase now. Now we go into the movement phase. And player 2, which is in this case is the Russian, will move first. So the only units, well, we have 2 units here with the movement command, and we have 1 with the short halt. So those are the Russian units that can move. Now, if I had a vehicle in Overwatch, I would be able to fire at these Russians as they're moving. But I do not have a vehicle in Overwatch, so I can't fire at the Russians as they're moving. All right. So this vehicle, he's on a path, but he's not going to be able to use the path rate. He's going to have to use that 7T because you notice because his first hex is going to be that hex with the brew up in it. It has a wreck which is blocking the path. So he has 7 and it's +1 to enter that hex. So what's the cost of entering that terrain? That terrain is scrub, and I'm almost certain that there's no penalty for moving through scrub. Go over here on the chart, and it is for scrub. Scrub. Yep, scrub is, well, now you look over here on the right and you see the different types of vehicles. All right, so it's 1, 2, and 4. I'm going to go up and you're going to see what those are for. All right, so you have an L. So T is a tracked. All right, L is leg, T is tracked. So the scrub is actually 2. So it's 2 for the tracked vehicle. So it's going to be 2 plus 1 for the wreck, for the brew up. So it's going to be 2 plus 1, 3. I'm going to do a right hand turn. Now it looks like I'm going to be going through crops. Remember, I can't use the path rate. So I have 4 movement points left. And they're going to be crops. And it's just 1 to move through crops. So I have 4 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And that's that unit right there. And that's going to get, its marker is going to be shifted to a move marker. I don't want to rotate it. I just want to shift it to a move marker. Yeah. Move marker. Oops, daisy. There we go. Okay, so that's that unit. Now the unit right behind it is gonna. Unit right behind it. I would like to go over there, because I think that's where I have the best chance of getting points if I'm the Russians. However, that gives the entire left side of the west side of the board to the Americans. So it's kind of a tough situation. Even though I don't get the road movement rate for this vehicle right here, I would, that path in front of it, so let me zoom in. Oop, boom. Right. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Get up close. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at this vehicle right here that I'm highlighting. All right. Normally, and I'm not sure if we do bog checks, but that would be considered light woods. It's orchard, it would be considered light woods, and it would create issues. But if I enter along that road path hex side. Even though I can't use the road movement rate for my entire turn, I can use the path rate for just that one hex. So instead of paying the 2 movement points to enter it, it would be just 1 movement point because I'm entering on a path and I won't have to worry about bogs. I don't think we have bog checks in the basic game. That might be one of the rules that I add in the next game. Let's see if we have bog checks. I don't think we have bog checks in the basic game. No, we don't. Okay, that's good. So, tough choice for the Russians, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn left. Oops. Left. I'm going to go forward 1. Then I want to get in these light woods. I want some type of cover. And we don't have hull down yet. So light woods, center column, it's 2 to enter. I'll turn right, and I'm going to enter that. And that's going to give me some, I think it's going to give me either light or medium cover. And that's going to end that turn. That and exit. Excellent. All right. What is it? Marker underneath it. Remove that move marker too. That. So this vehicle, the third vehicle, it had a short halt. So it's gonna be this vehicle fire. It's gonna be this vehicle right here. And it's going to be 7 divided by 2. It's going to be 3.5, round down 3. So it only has 3 points. So it's going to go forward. It's going to go 1, and then 2, 3 to enter the woods hex. And that's it for that movement over there. I think that's it for the entire turn. Let's see if there's anybody that is eligible to move that didn't move. Oh, the Americans haven't moved yet. So we're just going to quickly move the Americans that are eligible to move. This guy right here. He can do 5 cross country. And do I actually want to have him move? He's actually in. No, yeah, I'm going to have him move, but first I'm going to have this guy move. Okay, so this guy was at a short halt. He has 11, 5.5, so he's going to have 5, a road movement rate of 5. So I'm going to see if I can get this to point in the right direction. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This unit right here, he has a full movement. He's going to use the road movement rate. He's going to turn that direction. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, return 4, 5. It's going to cost him 6 because it's going to turn 2 hex sides. 7 and claim it for the Americans. And then he's going to go forward like hell. 8, 9, 10, and yes, this front, because you use the road movement rate, has to point in the direction of the road. So the Americans were the last one through that. This unit has short halt. It's going to turn 2 hex sides. 1, 2. So that's going to cost it 1. Can't use the road movement rate, unfortunately. And this is going to be 1, 2 to enter. So he doesn't have enough points to enter that hex. I think he can automatically go forward 1 hex side, if I'm not mistaken. Can always move forward 1 hex. I'll have to look that rule up later. I think we got, oh, we do have more movement here. So let's go over here in the corner. Yes. So each of these have 2.5 have 2 movement points. He's going to move forward 1. And you can't enter that wood hex. There you go. Do I want to move forward another point? Nope. And he's going to move forward 1. And then these guys on the hill have a full movement value. So it's going to be 2 to move downhill and 1 to enter the new hex. 3 and then 4, 3. And that right there is brush. So I'm going to turn 4, and then I'm just going to shift. 3, 4, 5. Right there. All right. And that's it for the movement phase, I believe. I'm going to pull back. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm going to take a break from the video to clean up a lot of these marks. Okay, so that's it for turn 3. The status right now is the Russians have 4 fully functioning AFVs plus 2 damaged AFVs. The Americans have 10 fully functional AFVs as far as elimination. The Americans have destroyed 6 Russian tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. And 2. They damaged 2. The Russians have destroyed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 American tanks. And that's where we stand. Turn 4 will be next. Thank you for your patience. Bye-bye.